Yo, what's good? It's Aaron Engineered, and I wanted to talk to you guys real quickly about how the CCNA saved my life. Not changed it, saved it. Those are two completely different things. Here we go. So first of all, talking about how it saved me seems a bit extreme, right? First of all, was I living under a bridge somewhere with no money to my name, living out of a cardboard box? No, it wasn't ever that extreme. But personally, I worked my way up from nothing. I started with being just a regular cabling person, so I would run cables everywhere, right? I figured out the whole layer 1 situation first. I never had a college education, but a couple of years ago, after turning 30 something, I thought to myself, I really need an upgrade. I gotta figure this whole thing out. And quite honestly, I was just floating through life without a purpose. So here's a couple of reasons why it saved me from what I think is impending doom. So first off, it showed me that I actually like networking. Now, I liked networking before. I always kind of worked in that area, but I liked networking before. I always kind of worked in that area. However, I never really had a job where I felt like I was 100% confident in all of my networking skills. And there was a little piece of me that never wanted to take a certification test because to me, without having the failure there, and what I mean by that is not going to the test center and walking out with a piece of paper that says fail on it, was kind of a small victory. So I could really claim in my own head that, I was smart enough to have that and I was smart enough to be on that level, but without ever actually having to prove it. So it did renew my confidence, but mainly it showed me that I actually like networking, because to that point, without ever actually going to the test center and failing, I was kind of ignorant to some topics that I probably shouldn't have been ignorant to, and ignorant's not a bad word, it just means you don't know anything, right? And if you don't pick up the book and you read through it, you won't know some of those smaller topics that are actually pretty helpful when it comes to solving networking problems and diving a little bit deeper into someone's network. The second thing that it showed me was that anything is possible. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but really, I was in my own head telling myself that I couldn't do it. Maybe I wasn't smart enough for that. It actually taught me a lot about my own self, not just about the test and some of the exam topics within the test. It taught me about who I am as a person and what I was able to accomplish, and how if I set my mind to things, I could actually get those things done. Since then I've gotten several certifications, and every time I feel like it gets easier because, it's really just a muscle. The more you work it out and the more you practice and the more you test yourself and the more you challenge yourself, the better at that you get. So I found that's probably one of the most beneficial things from getting the CCNA. The third thing is it actually made me smarter. So what's cool about that is, again, going back to me being kind of ignorant about the whole thing, I actually started figuring out things in my head like, well, that's not possible because of how, X works, right? Or that can't really happen, being when I'm troubleshooting something, that can't really happen because that's not how that technology works. Or if it does, this is how it would interact. So I actually did get smarter. So, I wasn't really studying at the beginning to get smarter. I was actually studying at the beginning to pass the test, which in hindsight was really the wrong way of going about it. What you want to be doing is you want to be studying to study, right? You want to study to get smarter. You want to understand the concepts. You want to be able to prove those concepts so that on test day, those things are just second nature to you. The next thing it taught me was that I actually have a purpose, right? This is why it saved my life. Going back to what I was talking about earlier, I was not living under a bridge. I was not in a cardboard box. However, this did teach me that I'm not done yet. Now I have goals, right? I'm trying to get a CCNP. I'm trying to get a CCIE. Maybe. We'll see. That's kind of a up in the air topic still, I feel like, because one thing at a time. But 5-year plan, that would be awesome to have. And again, without getting started with the CCNA, I wouldn't even be able to think about the CCIE, Because opening that first page of the CCNA and seeing something that I'd never seen before and trying to grasp that was already a tough pill to swallow. God forbid something that's CCIE level. I could barely understand that. So if that's not palatable, God only knows what's 3, 4, 5 tests ahead of me. Like, this is only going to get worse from here, right? But it did give me a sense of purpose, and now I have something to look forward to, something to achieve, and not necessarily for a monetary gain either. Really, I'm just trying to better myself and make myself smarter. And I like being that go-to person. When people have questions, they can come directly to me, and I can formulate those answers in my head as quickly as possible, or think on my feet logically, and even help them understand those topics, so that we can kind of feed off of each other. I think that's a really cool experience. So it's given me, kind of a reason to want to excel myself and my career. And part of that too is even just doing this video, right? I wanted to be able to share my experience because, I need this. I need what's happening right now. I need someone like me to help me when I was first getting into this, because I really wanted to know what I was getting myself into and kind of to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Like, what is the end game here? What is it I'm actually pursuing? So that's been tremendous for me. No one goes through your resume on Indeed or Glassdoor or whatever, sees it and says, oh gosh, you got a CCNA, you're automatically disqualified. So there's no way it's really gonna hurt you. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, it can only make you better, right? For a multitude of reasons. But in your resume, when they're doing searches, when they being recruiters, or even headhunters, and they're looking for those key words, they're gonna find you based on that, and then go through your resume. Yeah, all of those things might not pan out if they reach out to you, but that's not the point. The point is, they reached out to you, but they found you because of those 4 magical little letters that you put in your resume, CCNA, did a little search, found you. Hey, they're looking for a junior network admin. Boom, can you do this? Will you fit the bill? So all the attention that I've gotten just from getting a CCNA, not really anything that I've pursued, but before I had that in my resume, I was pretty quiet, right? Like, my LinkedIn wasn't getting noticed, people weren't talking to me. But since getting the CCNA, that's changed tremendously. I've seen so many messages come in and, hey, I think you might be a good role for this, you might be a good fit for this. And I know some of them are just kind of like spammy sort of things. They look for things and shoot them out to you, but those didn't exist before. So it's not necessarily that all of them are going to turn into a job and all of them are going to turn into some sort of like $1 million contract. That's not the point. The point is that, I've been getting noticed because of it. And for that reason, I feel like the CCNA has really saved my life. So if you guys feel the same way, please leave a comment. Tell me what it's done for you, or if you're getting it and this inspired you to do it, or if you haven't even made the first step yet and this inspired you, please leave a comment and tell me your story. And if you want, hit subscribe. I'm going to do a ton more of these because I'm getting my CCNP right now. Peace.